better, cheaper, faster. Those have always been the goals. But as AI transforms the way we work, the real question is, are your business processes intelligent? Welcome to the Efficiency Lounge, where we bring you straight talk from industry leaders on AI adoption, implementation, and measurable business impacts. Welcome to the Efficiency Lounge, where we discuss all things AI with small business owners. My name is Natasha, owner of SheikSys AI, and today we have CEO of Nationwide Payment Systems and host of the B2B Vault podcast, Alan Kopelman. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. And you're based out of where?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Could you tell the audience a little bit about the history of your company?
Nationwide Payment Systems was started in 2001, so we're 25 years in business. And believe me, the payments business has changed drastically over 25 years. And in the beginning, we're a merchant service company providing credit card processing to small and medium-sized businesses. And today we're more of a fintech company because today everything is powered by software. So now business owners want software, point of sale, more and more e-commerce. People that have not sold on the internet, especially B2B companies, are starting to sell on the internet. And we also help companies get more efficient, especially in the collection of money with our software, the NPS One Gateway and Smart Invoicing tool, which helps businesses collect money and save time and money and add more value because they're giving customers the easy way to pay and not sit and wait on checks in the mail. I always tell business owners, someone asked me on another podcast recently, what sinks a lot of businesses? And I said, when the business makes sales but doesn't collect money and they think they're going to be the good guy because they're going to give 30 or 60 days to pay. And that ends up biting them later on in the butt because you can't be the bank and be successful in business, not unless you've got some super deep pockets. And most business owners don't have deep pockets. So it's really important to remember that, you don't have to be the bank. Customer needs 30 days. Say, hey, we'll take your credit card, pay us now, and you can pay your credit card company later. And even a lot of credit card companies have where they'll break up the payment for the business owner, like online. I'll go into my Chase credit card. It'll say, oh, eligible for pay in full with zero interest. Things like that. So your customers have ways they can spread out the payments where you don't have to be the bank.
So how does your company's services compare to your competitors? And how does your service offering stand out?
If you compare us to Stripe, one thing is we do have a phone and we answer it. Where I see so many businesses complain when they deal with what I call the flat rate companies, Square, Stripe, PayPal, QuickBooks. And all of a sudden, they can't get answers when they have a problem or they have a question. There's nobody to help them, or they get a chargeback. There's nobody to talk to. So that's one differentiator. When it comes to QuickBooks, we have a two-way sync product. And the difference between our product and their product is they charge for users. We give you unlimited users. When you send an invoice with our product versus any of these other products, the invoices have your logo on it, your information. You don't see our company logo anywhere. So when people send me an invoice through QuickBooks, I'll see it says pay QuickBooks, pay PayPal, pay Stripe. You see their logo everywhere, Square. With us, the customer is going to see your logo, your branding. So you're building your business with that customer. You're building that relationship with them. And the other thing that our product does is when you send an invoice from our system and you're using the smart invoicing tool, you can put your terms and conditions of the sale there attached to the invoice, and the customer has to click that they accepted the terms. And if you ever did get a chargeback or you're having a dispute with the customer, you could say, well, you click the terms of the sale and you're able to protect your business. Because one thing I always tell business owners, there's no language you put on an invoice or in a contract that could stop somebody from doing a chargeback. What you can do is make sure that your paperwork, your invoicing system puts you on the side of where you can win a chargeback if one ever happens.
Great. So what is your typical customer profile? Who's the ideal person who should be signing up for your services?
We deal with a lot of different companies, from startups, people that do B2B sales. They're selling business to business, business to government. We deal with a lot of websites where people are selling products to consumers and businesses through their website, from selling dental supplies, dental equipment, cell phone parts, auto parts. I mean, any kind of parts that you can think of. Ticket sizes ranging from something small as $5 up to somebody processing a credit card for 500,000 to $1 million. So it's a big range, and every business needs something unique, because while we can give them our product, they might have a unique thing that they need us to help them with so that their business is protected. And that's what we do. You have to understand, a business that does 100 transactions or 500 transactions, 1,000 transactions, that's one thing. When you jump up and you have businesses doing 50,000, 100,000, 300,000 transactions in a month, they have a whole different level of security that they need, fraud protection, and things like that. So we go over all of that with business owners to make sure that not only are we giving them a system that they can use today, we want the system to grow with them.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your role as CEO and what your typical day is like?
My typical day, I wake up in the morning. I have a dog, so he has to go for a walk. That's about 2 miles. Even though he's 13, he can still truck a couple of miles in the morning. He's a Jack Russell Pointer mix. His name's Rocky, and he's sleeping on the floor next to me. Rocky comes to the office. So we do the walk, then we check email, check social media, check what the appointments are for the day. I always try to familiarize myself when somebody has an appointment book to go look at their website. If somebody's asking about their website and a product that they're selling and they're having a problem maybe with a credit card processor, that's when we have to go take a look at their website and review for compliance issues like product descriptions. Someone came to me, they were selling honey, and it said there were medical claims in the description. I was like, that's a no-go. That's why you got shut off by your previous processor, because you have to understand. I always joke around. I even talk to lawyers sometimes about credit card processing. You guys don't understand. You think it's Visa and MasterCard, American Express. They're coming at you saying, oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. None of these rules comes directly from them. A lot of these rules come from state, federal, and local agencies. So who are those agencies? The DEA says, oh, you can't sell this. The FDA says you can't sell that. And the FTC says you can't sell this, right? So you have certain websites, you're selling vapes, cigars, CBD, nutraceuticals, vitamins. You have to put disclaimers on your websites depending on what kind of business you're in. A lot of people don't realize that. They just launch their business, need the easy button, Stripe, Square, PayPal, and then boom, they get shut off. And those companies are not going to review your site. They just check that you have a pulse. Once you hit $5,000, then they review the site. They go, oh, this guy's selling honey and it says that it's going to cure your acid reflux or something, right? Some wording on there. And that's basically an FTC violation for false advertising and an FDA violation for that matter. So you have to really be careful about description of the products that you have on your website.
So, what are you most proud of your team for accomplishing?
Listen, we accomplish a lot every day. We're closing in on 400 podcast episodes, and the team in the office helps with that and helps with marketing and making sure that our company is visible. You know, we're up against companies who do billions of dollars a month and can spend more money in one day in advertising than we could spend in a year. So it's super important to have all the networking going on and visibility, blogging, video, marketing that you can do. There's no level playing field when it comes to advertising in 2026. I think if you go back, I'm a business owner for over 30 years. I owned a restaurant, a catering company, a business consulting company that consulted to the hospitality industry, and then got into this business. And if you go back in time, restaurants 30 years ago, you needed to put an ad in the Friday weekend section or wherever people were looking for restaurants. Today, if you said to a restaurant, what's the two most important places for you to be? It's not going to be the white pages, the yellow pages, the newspaper. The answers are going to be Google and getting reviews, my Yelp page and my Facebook page. Even for this business, we started out We had to add in the yellow pages, which did us very well for a long time. And then you move forward, all of a sudden there's no more yellow pages. Now you're dealing with the internet. Then comes social media. I would say social media was funny when you go back to the beginning of Facebook, Twitter, now X, and LinkedIn. It was the wild, wild west of what you could do on there as far as getting your name out, and no roadblocks at all. I mean, you could make a post and then go hit a button and put it in 100 groups. Today you can't do that. They slow you down. They put roadblocks in front of you from doing that. They want you to buy paid ads. And now today we go into 2025, 2026. We were talking before we got on here about AI, right? So now you have to look at, okay, well, where does somebody go to search for questions they have? Oh, I need credit card processing. Who should I call? I have a hair salon or I have an e-commerce business. Where are they typing that? In Google, in Yahoo, Microsoft's browser, right? Where are they asking that question? I guarantee you probably 50% they go look on Google or search engine. The other 50%, where are they going? Claude, they're going to OpenAI, ChatGPT, they're going, which is the most well-known. I think they have over 50% of the market, Perplexity, and then there's a host of other smaller ones that people use. And that's a big challenge for businesses today. One thing I will say, like, don't fall for any ads where someone says, I'll get you on the first page of Google. I'll get your business mentioned in ChatGPT. I'm not so sure somebody can do that. I'm search. I play with all of these tools. I did a podcast. I had somebody on as a guest. We talked about AI, and I said, today, if you're going for a job, you better be able to talk about what you can do with AI. Okay. You don't know how to use AI? Get online, take some classes, and learn how to use AI. Because AI will help you be more efficient in whatever you're doing, your job, your business, whatever. I'm just saying it's AI or die. That's what we say. Okay. And if you're an employee, you already have a job, you need to learn how to use AI. You got to talk to the company. Hey, can we use AI? You can tell kind of right away, like some of the social medias where people are just using AI to post. The problem with that is most of it all looks the same.
How is AI transforming the fintech industry?
I think in one good way, you can use AI to help you do things like blogging and rewriting so your web pages are more visible and able to be read by the large language models, which is the AIs, and even just Google. AI is super important to learn how to use with your website. Learn how to use it as a writing tool. Use it to do research. So AI, those are good parts. And fintech companies are using AI to have frequently asked questions so that you go into a website and instead of you searching through 1,000 frequently asked questions, you can just ask a question of the chatbot, and the chatbot's trained on the FAQs that the company has, and it can help them have less support phone calls. Now, there's bad stuff going on with AI, because I will tell you one thing. This is something I'm about to write an article about, and it is the evolution of identity theft and AI and what's going on with that right now. And the biggest danger out there today is your credit. Whether you're just a consumer or you own a business, you need to have credit monitoring turned on. We are seeing the biggest increase in identity theft that we have ever encountered in 25 years in business. Okay. And it's getting worse on a daily basis. And it's really, really bad. And the other thing that's going on is these scammers are using AI to do all kinds of crazy stuff. It was a lot harder to do before AI. These scammers are getting good. If you are a business owner and you ask me this question, what's the number one thing I should do right now? I'm going to tell you the number one and number two. 3 things to do. Have credit monitoring. Number 2, make sure you claim your Google profile. If you don't claim your Google profile, you are at risk of the worst scam that you could ever see happen to your business. And claim your Yelp profile. If you don't have credit monitoring and you don't claim your Google profile or your Yelp, I literally got off the phone with somebody this morning who was flipping out. They didn't do that. And somebody made an email address. They went in, claimed the Google profile of an existing business, got their Yelp page, changed all the phone numbers to theirs, changed the email address to the scammer email address, and then went out and tried to access this person's bank account. Not only that, they applied for credit card processing, loans, and all kinds of stuff. And we see people sending us applications that are completely fake. The other day we had one that was a nail salon, and we Googled the nail salon and found three different websites, one of which was the scammer's website. And the scammer also took over their Yelp and their Google because they were unclaimed. Business owners need to understand, like, your lifeblood is credit. Okay. I interviewed the owner of NAV.com, which is like Credit Karma for businesses. And we talked about this. Credit for your personal credit and your business credit is super important, and you need to protect it. But also, you need to protect your assets. Your assets are all these digital things online, Google profile, Yelp, your Facebook pages. You don't want somebody hacking into any of that, taking them over, because now they're not just taking over your business, they're taking over your whole business identity, sometimes even your personal identity, or they could be using some other person's identity that's not even related to your business.
It's definitely a different time where you have to be extra cautious about people committing identity theft. AI has contributed to that. And that's why I want to open up these discussions, because a lot of people have fear around AI and they view it as being negative. But other people think it's great. So, can you talk more about where you kind of land in that spectrum?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, it's definitely helping with coding. I mean, listen, we're seeing coding jobs disappear every day online. Meta just cut thousands of jobs, all probably coders, because now somebody can literally just type something in to Claude and Claude can just code. I even tried it to see if I could do it. So I went and saw some savings calculator on somebody's website. I took the URL, dropped it in Claude, and I said, "Oh, I want to have a similar type of savings calculator for my website. Da 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 da. Da. Here's my logo. These are my colors. Can you make this for me?" Put it in Claude, and Claude literally 15 minutes later spit it out. Coding, like, and then when I copied and pasted the code, it was about 30 or 40 pages on a Word document. So when you think about that, that's a lot of typing, 30 or 40 pages of typing of a coder. And now Claude can just do that in 15 minutes. That's crazy. Right? But also, when you see coding going so fast, now you have to start to question quality, right? What's the quality of what you're getting? Like, somebody reviewing all this stuff and they're correcting it or whatever they're doing, but are they producing a quality product for somebody to use? And also, I see that in Claude slash Anthropic, they started cracking down on people using their tools. They're not authorized resellers because they're linking up software to Claude's API and not doing it in the right way. So that's something else that's going on. If you're not using AI today, you need to learn how to use AI. Ways to learn is experiment with it, try them all out. Try out OpenAI, try out Claude, try out Perplexity. And I would say they're all different. You're not going to get the same output from all three of them. They're just different in what they can do. You might not like what Claude does. If you're doing coding, Claude is probably a lot better than OpenAI right now. But OpenAI also has a Codex add-on for coding. I'm not a coder, so it just depends like what's your level of computer expertise.
Can you speak more on your specific company's journey with AI? Any highlights or challenges you've overcome?
I don't think there's challenges we're overcoming. I think we're looking at different products today because a lot of companies that you look at, and a year ago, their website was blah, 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 .io. Now, all of a sudden, that same company's website is .ai. So are they selling you automation or are they selling you AI? Right. So a lot of people don't understand what's the difference between automation and what's AI. So automation is one thing. You're automating a process. AI is artificial intelligence. They're not the same, but there's a lot of people selling automation as AI. That's a little misleading. So I think you really have to look at products and do demos and look at different types of companies. And you have to ask a lot of questions. I talk to people because obviously we want to get leads, right? So we're looking at like, oh, what are all these AI companies doing with leads, right? Is there some magic wand somebody's got to get your business leads, right? You want to get leads for your business too, right, Natasha? you think you can use AI for it, but what you have to do is you really have to ask them a question. What are these leads? Are they just reaching into like data axle and pulling out business information out of a free database like that? Are they reaching into some other type of website that's coming up with intent data that they're gathering? And you have to ask them a lot of questions about where they're getting this from. The other thing is, these guys who are doing all this cold emailing, I could show you a dashboard of my back end of my Microsoft 360 account, 365, and we had to put on a filter back there. And like every week, we're blocking 30,000 emails coming into nationwide payment systems. 30,000 emails. Can you just imagine that? Phishing emails, marketing emails that maybe we don't want, fake DocuSign emails, phishing, spam, all kinds of stuff. And also, when I go into my email, sometimes it will say recently created email. And that's one of the things with cold email. Google, Gmail, and Microsoft, they're picking up these signals now, and they're blocking those emails from getting into the person's inbox. They're not even hitting they're not hitting junk. They're just going ether. And yeah, and you could waste thousands of dollars doing cold email. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff going on.
What advice would you have for a small business owner that is hesitant to implement AI into their business processes?
It's like hiring an employee, right? What do you want it to do? And then you got to figure out who can make that or who already has something out of the box that you can use that would help you be more efficient. Like you're all about efficiency. So that's what AI is. AI is increasing efficiency. So how could you increase your efficiency with your business? I mean, if you're a restaurant, sure, you could take your menu, stick it in AI as an example, right? And say, okay, based on my prices and my menu and the surrounding area, let's say 10 or 12, 15 miles, how are my menu prices compared to my competitors? I guarantee you, OpenAI will spit out a report letting you know and could even give you a spreadsheet of everybody's prices in all the restaurants that are around you to see if you're competitively priced. There's a ton of things you could do. What it will do is just unbelievable. And you have to experiment with it and try it out. You could even take all your sales, let's say at a restaurant, I'll use that as an example because there's a lot of it where you have a retail store and you have a bunch of employees in there. You could take your schedule, put it in AI, then you could get your sales data that's broken down by the hours of the day for like a whole week or a whole month. Then you could say, compare my schedule to my sales and how can I make my scheduling more efficient? There's a lot of information that you can literally get out of AI if you just experiment with it. That's the only way to do it is to learn how to use it and learn what it will do and what it won't do. But it can analyze things like documents. Let's say, I'll give you another example. By my house, they're trying to build 500 townhomes on the golf course. And it's a constant fight between my neighborhood and the city. And they put out these documents and they're hundreds, if not thousands of pages long. Well, I don't have time to sit around and read a 400, 500 page report. So I get that report, I download it to my computer, stick it in OpenAI, say, hey, I need a synopsis on this, and then ask it a bunch of questions like, how is this going to affect my neighborhood? Is there anything in here I should know about? Like, I'm very interested in the environmental report. What's in the environmental report? And it will tell you everything. Or let's say you're going to sign a contract and you're going to sign a contract with somebody to do something for your business. You can take the contract or the lease and put it in there and go, what are my liabilities? What am I responsible for? Am I responsible for the air conditioning? Or am I going to have to pay for water? Do I have to supply my own dumpster? You can ask it a whole bunch of different questions and it'll give you the output. That's like before you send it to a lawyer so that you don't waste the money on paying a lawyer $200, $300 an hour to read over a contract. You can go through the contract and find the deficiencies, or you might say, well, I don't want to rent this place. I'm responsible for an air conditioner that's 15 years old. I don't feel I should be doing that. You have to ask it the right questions to get the output.
Exactly. And there's different ways of using it. I prefer the approach where you can use your AI like a personal assistant. You may increase your productivity 3, 4, maybe even 10x if you learn how to use it. So I like to put the message out there that AI can be used for positive purposes and people don't have to be afraid of it.
No, I mean, I'm just saying you have to experiment with the tools to see what the tool can do and if it will be efficient for what you want to use it for. Like there's some AIs that can read your email and then tell you which emails you need to respond to right away. Things like that, which is good.
Totally agree with you. Alan, thank you for your time today. Is there anything else you want to let our listeners
Now,
know?
if you want to find out more information about nationwide payment systems, you can go to nationwidepaymentsystems.com, book a strategy call. It's all free. We don't charge you to give you a consultation. Also, you can go look at our solutions page and look at our smart invoicing tool. We have a savings calculator there, completely free. You can even upload a statement. We'll give you a free analysis back. We use AI to do that. Does a whole bunch of different checks on your merchant statement to see if you're using this correct SIC code, getting the best interchange. We check for junk fees and all kinds of different things, and we can tell you what's going on with your business. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Alan Kopelman, and you can check out the podcast, B2B Vault, everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Great. As always, I'm Natasha, your host, owner of Chic Assist AI. If I can be a resource to you, please reach out. Alan, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for your time today.
All right. Thank you for having me on the podcast today, Natasha.
No problem. Take care.